Style and taste the same. I think they're intrinsically slightly different.
Taste is knowing what to buy, and style is knowing how to carry it off.
I'll go with that. Loud doesn't always mean noise volume, because this gun is pretty loud. This is a super exhibition piece made by AYA. So the action itself is an AYA Model 37, which is a full side lock Merkel Coral style gun. You have the crossed locking lever in the top that pops out, as you can see. It's quite a familiar action type for those of us who are familiar with, you know, AYA's that Germanic style of gun at least. This is made in Spain, just to be clear. The thing that makes this gun particularly special is that in 1975, AYA decided to do a complete one-off Damascene inlay gun. Damascene inlay being precious metals, gold or silver, inlaid into non-precious metals, in this case the steel action. You've got a blued background with carved birds inlaid in gold. And this is one of those guns that grows on you because the talent level in making this is obscene. The little gold flowers are actually raised and carved out. This is a very 3D gun. This has an awful lot going on. It might not be to your tastes, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because this is art. It really is. This gun is in the Holts July 2022 sale and is valued at $3,000 to $5,000, which, just given the amount of gold in it alone, is not an unreasonable amount of money, let alone the amount of talent involved in making it and the fact that this is a completely unique piece by a world-class maker. The barrels are 28 inches long with 1/4 and 3/4 chokes. If we pop the forend off, you'll soon see that it is a 3-piece forend. If we pop it back on, you can see you've got that slight line where they join, but they're a beautiful thing. Everyone loves a 3-piece forend, right? And the way these go on is special. It's not special, it's different, but make sure when you are using one of these, you hook those kickers on first before going on. Don't come in from the standard angle that you would otherwise. I mean, you won't break anything because luckily the design is all metal to metal contact, but you know, you'll feel silly. If we pop them off, we'll see that the gun was recently reblued, or it has been reblued at some point, just given the slight wear on the Aguirre Aranzabal name. And if we spin it over, we can see it was reproofed in London in 2022 at 18.5 bore and 18.7 bore in the underbarrel. 70mm chambers. Everything on this gun that could be gold is gold. The ejectors are gilded, the screws in the forend are gold, and this is about the only place of wear on the entire gun that is noticeable. Other than that, it's extremely tidy. Is one of the gold screws in the forend slightly chewed up. You have an engraved border round the bottom of these long, flat, flared top barrels. I always used to hate these, to be blunt. I always thought they looked terrible, but it's one of those action styles that has really grown on me over the last couple of years. Like all things, being subjected to it and finding an appreciation of it, I quite like it. I do quite like it. The barrels have a solid midrib and a vented top rib. And like a lot of fine guns, you have a really peculiar finish on the top rib. It was machined as they would do with that rolled wiggly line effect, but they've gone over the top of it and then peened it with like a texture tool. So it's got texture, it doesn't catch the light badly, and it seems to be the thing that denotes more production guns into the slightly more top end. Is you can always look at the top rib and see how much care and attention someone's put in, how much extra effort they have. If it's just machined, that's fine. If they've machined it and then taken a bit off to make it slightly hand finished, that's fine. It's just a point of interest. I think it's a lovely finish, and actually when you look down it outside, it's the perfect matte texture to not catch the sun, to draw your eye, but without being too harsh and too obvious. A lot of the time those really harshly checkered top ribs can be quite obtuse in your eye line. I know we're being really particular and petty, but you know, that's why we like guns, right? Or else we'd all just shoot bagels. Back in 1975, tastes in wood were slightly different. They went for strength and longevity over style and fashion and like wow factor, and so the wood is quite plain. And you can see this on the forend. It's nice, it's straight grained, it's got nice density. It is a beautiful piece of wood, but it's not super wow. You can see the raised little lumps on the forend iron there. Just a beautiful thing. I'm gonna get told off for fawning over guns, but you know, look at that. Jeweled forend iron on the inside mixed with the gilt metal. Like, the real difference between any gun is just how much extra effort they put in, because they all do the same thing, more or less. The interesting thing about AOA, especially in 1975, is this is a company that made the Yeoman for £34. I would have loved to know which country this was originally sold in and who the original buyer was, because, you know, I'd say you got taste, you're a brave man. You got style. Before we look at the action, the stock is a thing of beauty. You have a raised cheek piece, little folds in the wood. You know, this is a real showpiece. I love that fold. That's not something you see regularly on English guns. You have that slight angle back pistol grip bottom there. And instead of just having a basic line from one to the other, you have this little fold that comes out of the checkering. It's beautifully scalloped. All the other lines on this gun are very straight, but that is just beautifully curved in with just enough of a cut border to be special. And the wood is beautiful. It's traditional, beautiful wood, not too loud, just special. Which is ironic because the action is pretty raw. Bordered and beaded trigger guard, double trigger, articulated front trigger, full side lock, stylized pheasants, stylized ducks, and this is where it gets kind of cool, is you have a hidden, not like super hidden, it's a lot easier to hide a release catch on a scroll gun. That's where I shouldn't have cut my nails before coming to Holts. Release lever catch, so that pops up, you undo yourself. Quite often they just take a little bit of persuasion to get these side locks out, and that's actually, I suppose, just a perfect wood to metal fit. And wood does shrink. You know, we get a particular commenter who comments on wood to metal fit at all points. You'll find no problems with this gun. It's absolutely perfect. However, part of the issue you can see is when you make it too perfect and the wood shrinks over time, which it does, over time the wood will then shrink behind the metalwork. So most fine guns you'll find were made with a slight lip, in the understanding that over 1975, 50 odd years of life, the wood will become smaller and the metalwork doesn't shrink because it's metal. There we go. Oh wow, look at that. That's pretty wild as they go. As a lock design, that big hook that comes around the back there, that's not standard. That is actually how they get that hammer or tumbler to run right in the middle. So in a lot of side lock guns, if that's the center line of the gun, the firing pins will do this or this. On this gun, they've angled the whole tumbler to go around the spindle right in the middle there, and this hammer actually hooks around the back, and as it fires a firing pin right from the center line of the gun. What that allows is these firing pins to be bang in line, which should technically be more efficient, create better striking with less issues. Not that you have any issues with the way other firing pins come in, but I just like that. I think that's a really nice touch. It's different, for sure. Whether it's any better, who knows? Gold was used en masse here. I can't help but really like this gun. I feel kind of like this is an utterly guilty pleasure. And I kind of like the way it looked, but I love that as much as I love all of this. This is my kind of jewellery. My final note before we finish, and it's these little things that make guns special. And I understand that we look at a lot of guns that look pretty much the same and do the same thing because, you know, shotguns are shotguns. But this, I'm hoping, is a different enough thing. And this safety catch, look at how beautiful that is. That little gold rose on top. I'm a big fan. I suddenly wish that I had 6,000 or 7,000 to spare to buy this and stick it in a glass case and stare at it every day. Like one of those rotating glass cases. You make a fine adornment to any office with an RFD and appropriate security. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Holts, who let us play with these amazing things. We'll see you soon.